Welcome to Survivor NSFW, the most downloaded, most popular, and badass unauthorized Survivor podcast. Happy Halloween, everybody. It's been a crazy night. I was out with my family trick-or-treating. Jonny was out with his family trick-or-treating. We got home. We doubled down. We watched the newest episode of Survivor, David versus Goliath. It was a good one. But before we get into it, Jonny, we got a couple amazing announcements. The live show coming up in Durham, North Carolina. Tell them what's up.
Next Wednesday night, 7 days from tonight. If you're listening on a Wednesday, you're probably listening on Thursday. So 6 days away. Go to survivorafterhours.com. That's right, survivorafterhours.com. Get your tickets. Going to be at the Dirty Bull Brewing Company. That's in Durham, North Carolina. It's going to be myself, Allison, who is still in the game. I was a little worried. She got a little airtime after some downtime. And, you know, we saw in the previews she might be making a move against Hot Cop Dan. I'm just like, motherfuck. But no, she is still there. She might go home next week, so you can be there to see it live. But I don't think so, and I don't hope so. Also, we got tentatively scheduled to appear, of course. These are all surprises, but fuck it, I'm gonna say it looks like we're gonna have a Jane from Survivor Nicaragua, and I will be meeting for the first time Crystal from Survivor, Survivor Gabon.
Sweet, that's awesome, man. Hell
yeah, that's pretty cool, and maybe even Ted from was it Thailand?
Cool. Well, that sounds how
crazy is that?
To me, anytime that you can meet former cast and watch the show together, it is an experience like none other. So you need to go.
And don't be surprised if Dana Lambert shows up. She just randomly I think she's the most anti-survivor on the planet, and Dana just shows up and comes and she's just like, yeah, I'm not here to see the show. and then talks about all these 8 other survivors that she's hanging out with, but doesn't want to talk about.
Right on.
So it's a good time, but it's next week. Wednesday night, VIP starts at 6:30. General admission starts at 7:30. VIP, you get a buff, you get autographs, you get the meet and greet, you get the stuff that I would definitely not be able to be doing a podcast with you right here, right now, Matt Bischoff, if I said these things on the fucking air. But get your tickets. We're gonna do a live watch along, then afterwards gonna do a big Q&A. It's gonna be a fucking blast. Tickets available at survivorafterhours.com. It's gonna be great. If you are on the bubble, should I do VIP? Should I do general admission? Get your fucking VIP tickets now. VIP does sell out, so there are only a limited number of buffs, so that kind of limits the amount of people that can do VIP. And plus, we don't want it overloaded with we want the VIP to be special. So once again, survivorafterhours.com. And really briefly, the Thanksgiving Eve tradition starting this year in Cincinnati, Ohio. We will be in Cincinnati at
Frickers. Yep,
Frickers.
We're gonna have a ton of former cast. This is my home. This is my hometown, so I'm super excited about it. And we have myself, another local survivor, Matthew Sash Lenahan from Survivor Nicaragua. We have Roger Bingham from the Australian Outback. We have Ghost Island.
Angela from Ghost Island.
Yep, Angela from Ghost Island. She's awesome. She lives like about a half hour from me. She will be there. And we also have Nick from this season, David versus Goliath. So to watch with Nick, you can ask him any question you want, get the inside scoop. It's going to be awesome. Jonny Fairplay.
Tanya Vance might even make it.
Well, that would be sweet. The more the merrier. It's the biggest party night of the year. You want to come out to Frickers. Get your VIP tickets now. And where do you get those, Jonny?
You go to survivortix.com. That's survivortix.com on that. But first and foremost, next week, come see me live in Durham, North Carolina, Dirty Bull Brewing Company. There's going to be a food truck outside that they have new sours that they're launching that night. All kinds of crazy stuff. And get your tickets for that at survivorafterhours.com. All right, let's talk this episode, David Goliath, episode 6. This is, if I'm not mistaken, Matt, this is the Survivor NSFW podcast.
It is the best and most listened to unauthorized Survivor podcast. David versus Goliath.
Hold on. But is this the one sponsored by Buff?
It is, and I believe you have a buff pulling back your luscious, long, blonde, curly hair. Your signature buff. Go to buffusa.com. Give them the rundown, Johnny.
Well, buff is the perfect head garment for running, hiking, biking, cycling, fishing, and more. Whether I'm on the marathon trails or surviving a cyclone, I always have my buff. And get yours at buffusa.com. That's buffusa.com, the official sponsor of the Unauthorized Survivor NSFW podcast. You know, even on the commercial-free version of the show, which is available at patreon.com/Survivor NSFW, you still get the buff plug because they're the sponsor. I mean,
they are the sponsor, and buffs are sweet. And
Yeah.
I have a nice little collection of them. I would definitely, if you're a fan of Survivor or just a fan of having a versatile thing for your head for sleeping at night to keep your hair out of your face, or a lot of girls can wear it as a halter top or a skirt. It's versatile. And you can go online, and I've seen a video that will show tons of different things that you can do with a buff.
We're going to actually get the next episode of the Survivor Watch Along. The one that just dropped this week with Andrew Savage was a ton of fun. For those of you that haven't heard about it or seen it, on our Patreon page, patreon.com/Survivor NSFW, we had Andrew Savage to do a watch along with episode 2 of Pro Islands. Episode 3, we're going to get into some buff talk. So because Burton and I, there's a whole big deal, but we won't go into it now. But man, there's a lot of shit you can do with the buff. But,
Yeah.
This cast, Survivor David versus Goliath. We're on episode 6 now.
I love it, Johnny.
I love this cast.
I do. I love the cast. They have done a great job this season, if you ask me, of character development, as we spoke about before. And it's people that you can relate to. It's not a bunch of actors. This is real people. We go in to the start of the show. It's day 16. And as we know, last week, Natalie got voted out. She did not give her jacket to Angelina.
No,
I think everyone's kind of excited that Natalie is gone. But you know what? Here's the thing, and I've talked to some people tonight, actually, and they're like, why don't you think people voted out Natalie long ago? She was such a bitch, and she was lazy and bossing people around. And I said, well, that's the perfect person that you take to the end typically, because no one's going to vote for him in the end, right? If you can deal with their attitude problem. But,
and we don't know the 100% dynamic. I mean, as I said, when we're breaking down some of those earlier episodes, John Hennigan's sitting there talking about how he likes her and she's not that bad. Mm-hmm. So, they're showing the worst of.
Yeah, it's all in the edit. There could be a lot of things when they're filming 24 hours a day and they show your worst and bad sides. They could do that on purpose and not show any of your good qualities. I think she's probably
like John Hennigan, obviously is going, it looks as though, it's a done deal. We have the merge next week. Once we get to these individual immunities, John Hennigan's going to be a target, and we know that possibly starts with the the second half of the show. But with the first half of the show, there could have been some people going, hey, this guy maybe he could be an early booter, maybe maybe we don't like him. We got our tough guy, we got our strong guy, we got hot cop Dan. Maybe Natalie's the one that's like, come here, sugar, let me look at them muscles. Come here. I mean, if I'm John and she's saying something, just like, fuck y'all, I like Natalie.
Right.
It could have been as simple as that. So someone that says, show mama them muscles.
Oh yeah.
If I got the muscles, I'm showing them to you.
100%.
I appreciate you acknowledging them.
Yep, indeed, man.
So we don't know. I mean, it might not have been any of that, but for people to be like, oh, it's just like, there's two schools. Like when I played the game the first time, and who's to say that I would play the game completely different if I were to ever go back. But I played the second half of the game first. So, I saw Burton and Rupert as the two strongest players out there on Pearl Islands. Who am I sending home first? Whichever one's available. So
Yeah.
they did the little twist where Rupert's on the other tribe for that vote. All right, see you later, Burton.
Yep.
First out.
Yep.
No problem.
Yeah. No, I hear you, dude. I hear you. So we basically see Natalie gone, and Angelina is pretty much stoked that Natalie's gone, and Mike, Lyrsa, and Nick kind of start talking about how strategic Angelina is, and they're kind of worried about the possibility of her flipping down the road. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's
go ahead.
No, and she was like kind of playing the whole, talking about getting the jacket and this and that. It's like Angelina is kind of a ticking time bomb. I don't know if she's someone that you can trust, and especially someone wearing gray yoga pants. You don't know how you can trust her.
Well, my takeaway from the beginning of the episode was Lyrsa resented Angelina for that vote, calling it petty. But I thought it was petty to hold that against Angelina for throwing out a worthless fucking vote.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like that vote didn't hurt nobody.
Right. No, it didn't.
You're calling her petty for doing it. It's just like, oh, are you trying to get that jacket? It's like, yeah, bitch, it's cold.
Yep. Right.
I mean,
and when it is cold,
I snuggled with Rupert. Fuck
right.
you.
Did you
how cold was it? I snuggled with Rupert.
Dude, did you snuggle Did you snuggle with his beard and his big belly?
No,
Did you spoon Rupert out there? Because I tell you what, when I was out there's this big black dude named Shamar, and there was Michael Snow, who is my dear friend and my number one alliance dude. I was spooning and cuddling with whoever I could get around.
I think I was big spoon to. I know. I was my main spoon partner was Trish.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Trish was gone, I think I was more times than not, I was big spoon to Rupert.
Well, it's crazy because you don't realize until you're out there when you are freezing cold and it's raining, you do not care about male, female,
it gay.
No, it's called
survival.
You are literally go into a. Yeah, it's insane.
I'm cold.
Because
when I went back for fans versus favorites, I spooned Eliza, and I got
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I got a little happy.
Right. No.
I mean, it's Eliza.
Yeah.
She has that effect on some people.
Yep. Indeed she does. Yeah. So, after we come back, after camp, and they talk about the whole Natalie thing, and we go to the Tiva tribe, and you got Christian who starts talking about fishing and all these analogies, and he gets his flippers on and he goes out, and you're like, oh my God, is this dude actually gonna catch some fish out there? For me,
he has a spring-loaded murder machine in his hands.
Dude, his comments are hilarious. But the thing is, it's like he goes out there and this is called Survivor. It's the adventure of a lifetime. So I thought to myself, man, he ain't going to catch anything. But the fact that he actually gave it his attempt to do so, it's probably the only time in his entire life he's going to do something like this. It was cool. It was cool that he actually tried to do it. Now, here's what I want to ask you. Do you think that Christian was doing that based off of, hey, I want to watch this back on TV and see myself fishing because this is this big adventure?
I think he was trying to show off for Gabby a little bit, and I think he also wanted the guys to think he was a guy.
Yeah, which actually,
I think it was part of the showing the brochachos that he's a brochacho.
Okay.
So even though he knows where he is in the brochacho peck, and in the brochacho pecking order, he's right there. They're all equals.
Right.
But they all have certain skills, and his skill set is deemed better in other areas than spearfishing.
Right, but I think it was cool because, like, him looking back now, if that's, he's gonna never forget that moment. So after he obviously fails at catching any fish,
Well, you know why? You know why, right?
Because he didn't practice catching the 10-gallon aquarium fish like Rupert did.
No. I think it was the shirt that was working against him.
Could be.
He was in there.
Yeah.
But you know where you can get a shirt that will always work for you?
JonnyFairplay.com.
It's true. And not only will the shirt work for you, it probably help you catch fish when you go spearfishing. I don't know. I don't wear a shirt when I spearfish, but when I'm out, fishing the town, I go to JonnyFairplay.com. I get one of those shirts and I call myself, because when you order a shirt, you get a call from Jonny Fairplay.
Which is amazing, and that is the truth. People ask, do you really get a phone call from Johnny?
Really
yes,
do.
Yes, you do.
I mean, you can request not to.
Yeah, but no one's gonna fucking do that, dude. Like,
it's an extra $5.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Speaking from somebody who, I used to run my own, clothing company, my own bike company that made soft goods. I'm picky when it comes to my t-shirts. I ordered a t-shirt from JonnyFairplay.com. I got
expecting
orange
the worst, weren't you? Were you like, man?
I thought it. I mean, you would talk.
You were hoping. You were optimistic.
I was optimistic, hoping that it was going to be killer, and I got the orange is the worst buff t-shirt, which is available now along with many others. Yeah. And it came in. The screen print feels good. It's a nice soft t-shirt. And I got it within a little over a week, I would say. The only thing I was pissed about, Johnny,
is I was one day after you ordered.
Yeah. So I ordered a shirt from JonnyFairplay.com, and I ordered a Jeff Probst cardboard cutout. Yeah. I don't know why I spent $40 on that, but I did, because I think it's fucking hilarious.
I kind of want one, but because
he doesn't want one.
I do, but he doesn't like me, so why should I get?
But it's because you can joke around. You can. This is why
I would put like brawn panties on him and stuff.
Yeah, you can do that, and you can put the shirts you buy at JonnyFairplay.com on the cardboard cutout.
But that's what I should do more than anything else. Put Jonny Fairplay shirts on him.
Exactly, and he can't do anything about it, and it's funny. I'm looking at it right now. It's over here. Tessa was like, "Matt,
why don't you have it behind?" See,
well,
I got my fat head behind me.
Well, I had it behind me, but then Tessa was like, we had this party a few days ago over the weekend, and she's like, Matt, you are not having this cardboard cutout of Jeff Probst sitting in the middle of our house for this party. Yeah. So she kind of like flattened him and put him over to the side. So I'm saluting him right now. He's got the cute little dimples. But anyways, we go to after.
So by the way, anyone that you listen to this show, through iTunes or Spotify or Stitcher, we're available all these places. You can also watch the video of this podcast. If you didn't know, if you go to patreon.com/Survivor NSFW, the video's up same night as the podcast. It's really cool. And so Matt's sitting there. He's got his guitars and stuff behind him. I got a fucking fat head of me behind me, along with pictures of fucking Fonzie and Leif Garrett and me.
Oh my God. Is that Leif Garrett for, oh my God, Survivor One World? Hell yes. Oh, dude.
No, that's Leif Garrett, the pop icon.
Oh.
Not Leif, the little person.
I thought you meant Leif, the little guy from...
No. I got Leif Garrett. I got me and Obama right there. Tatanka, the wrestler. I got some crazy shit.
That's awesome.
Anyway.
Hell yeah. So getting back into it, we go to the first challenge. It is a reward challenge, and obviously we're still in the game with 3 separate tribes, which I don't particularly like. But
third tribe walks up, and you see John Hennigan and Hot Cop Dan going, come on, man.
Yeah. Yep. Dude, that tribe is...
job. You got one fucking job. Vote out a David. We got the numbers in all 3 fucking tribes.
Yep.
One job.
Yep. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
And so we go in, and the reward is basically, so first place you get cooking utensils, so like knives and stuff like that. You get some spices and some food kebabs.
I won that reward on fans versus Pearl Islands. We got a grill table deal, and then spice, and that right there was the difference maker in my game. I mean, because I'm doing Cajun fish. I mean, because I don't care what, if you have fish every day, it's fucking fish. I mean, there's I don't get, it could be snapper, it could be whatever. It's fucking fish.
Yeah.
But we get those spices. I'm like, hey, how about a little dill? How about a little cayenne? How about a little paprika?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Fucking like Gordon Ramsay. I wish I'd watched more Food Network stuff before I'd gone out there, because I would have been like, get the fuck out of my tribe.
Right.
You can't fucking cook.
So yeah, any kind of flavor out there when you're having such bland things like the just coconut and rice and whatever is a huge thing.
Popcorn?
I never had popcorn out there.
Popcorn is when you cook the coconut. You cook it in little pieces in seawater, and they call it popcorn.
Yeah, I don't think we did that, honestly.
Oh man, that was one of the best.
Well, next time we hang out, we should try to recreate this shit over my campfire.
Or let's fucking just do Survivor again.
Yep.
Next time we play Survivor together,
let's make
popcorn.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome. Deal. So you get cooking utensil, spices, and kebabs.
Let's plan ahead. I mean,
yep. Hell yeah.
So yeah, day 2, fuck that. Day 30, I'm thinking day 38, maybe mid-afternoon.
Yeah,
let's make some popcorn.
Hell yeah, let's do it. Second place, they don't get all the utensils and spices, but they get the kebabs, which anything out there is
anything is good, but those spices, as I said, that's a game changer. And the knives would have been nice. I mean, fucking like I would have been fucking just Rambo, just like I would have put the knife in my mouth and been running, not cautiously, obviously.
And you can do a lot of things with the knives. If you get one machete out there, you can use the knives to whittle a little freaking spear, or just how boring it is out there when there's not a challenge day.
My friend JC was a carpenter.
Yes. I love it. So,
I broke that out at Bible study on Monday night. My pastor, we do a thing each week where we say our hobbies and what we do, and it's been part of the Bible study group's been missing each week. So finally, the last people that hadn't been there, it finally told theirs. So we've all been waiting for our pastor to tell his story, and he was just like, well, he goes, I like woodworking, I like to whittle, and I was like, oh, my friend JC is a carpenter. He goes, I've heard that.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, it's so good when you tell a pastor that.
Oh yeah, yep,
so
for sure.
It does not go unappreciated.
Right on. So we have to take a bag in this challenge. You have to take a bag of coconuts, and then you got to move through this obstacle course, and then at the end of the challenge,
coconuts forever. If you're the bulk of the. Yeah, yep. that was and I apologize for saying team. It's tribe. I hate it when people say team instead of tribe, and I also hate when people say merger instead of merge. Those are my two biggest pet peeves in all of Survivor.
Merger. Who says fucking merger?
When a company buys another company.
No, I know that, but in the context of Survivor,
I know. When they say it, I'm just like, "What are you? Is there a fucking hostile takeover? Is ABC buying CBS?" And no one told me. When did the fuck did this happen?
Right.
So
right.
yeah,
So this challenge, you got to realize that coconuts and bags of anything to do with bags of coconuts is heavy as hell. In my season, there was a challenge where I had to hold this rope, and people were trying to toss coconuts into this big sack, right? And you had to hold it as long as possible. Well, when that bag fills up with a ton of coconuts, it's almost impossible to hold it any longer. That shit is extremely freaking heavy, and you don't realize it till you're out there playing. But the coconuts are heavy.
Hey,
And,
real, did you notice? Did you notice all the butts?
oh yeah, a
There,
100%.
there's some butts going on this episode, right?
I am definitely a fan of booty, I would say, and
Yeah.
so it's
Gabby's butt, I thought was pretty strong. Like I would not think. I mean, because like I thought a couple times early she was all right, and sometimes not, but sometimes all right.
yeah.
Tonight she was all right. I mean, like really all right. Like I was a fan of Gabby's butt. Learsa's butt wasn't telling me no.
Yeah, well, here's the thing too.
Uh, but hold on, Elizabeth's butt. Even though we barely saw any of it, I would like to give her a pair of Umbro shorts to wear for the rest of the season. I mean, I appreciate. I am old school. I like to see them survive. I don't need to see Elizabeth survive in her underwear anymore.
Well,
I don't need to.
here's what I want to ask you, Johnny. So I was talking to my wife about this and at this party earlier tonight, and it's like a lot of times they will give people their bathing suits, like the men's board shorts or women's whatever bathing suit they're going to wear.
It looks like they gave Christian a sweater tonight.
Well, yeah, I saw that, but I wonder why they have not. Why have they waited this long to give the cast their bathing suits? Because they're still in obviously their underwear. No one has worn a clean bathing suit. Because usually you show up at tree mail, or at least on my season, you show up at tree mail and it's like, hell yeah, we got bathing suits. Well, cool. I have another piece of clothing, which is a huge thing out there.
When did you get your bathing? How early did you get your bathing suit?
I mean, maybe a weekend, maybe.
See, I'm thinking mine was closer to the merge.
Well, then we're gonna see that. So
We'll find if you're watching the watch along cast alongs. We'll pinpoint it because I'll be able to tell you the challenge that they actually gave them to us.
oh, cool, right on. Well,
So, yeah. But I'm thinking around merge time. So I mean, I think it's probably just. I think this season they're loving telling the story of them surviving. So giving them additional clothes takes away from that story.
yeah, I would have to agree with you. That makes sense.
And you wouldn't have the whole like if Angelina has a fucking jacket, none of that means anything last week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm okay with them not. I mean, other than Elizabeth. I mean, like I love it. Does Elizabeth remind you of Sandy Squirrel from SpongeBob SquarePants? Right?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, for sure. That's hilarious.
That's her.
It is.
That's her. I mean, she's not the Big Tom character I was hoping for.
Nah, she's not. She's not.
No.
Yep, she's not. So, in this challenge.
But
in this challenge, Lyrsa is blowing it. We finally go toward the second half of the challenge where there's basically 4 kind of poles, if you will, and you're having
ring toss.
You're having to get a ring on each of the 4 poles, and you got to land 4 rings. So it's a pretty close race. Tiva ends up winning, and then Nick. I was like, hell yeah, Nick. Please make these. Nick's a buddy of ours. Johnny and I have met Nick, and Nick pulls it off for second place. And
well, them hillbillies are good at them carnival games. You ain't got a lot of shit in the South, okay?
No. And
carnival games is all and that's once a year.
Yep, carnival games, but it's kind of like a cornhole thing, like those kind of challenges. I was like, man, and I was wow,
they play a different kind of cornhole in the South too.
What?
But I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah. But I was rooting for Nick, man. I was rooting for Nick, and I was like, wow, he shined in this challenge. It wasn't like a super crazy technical challenge. It was kind of just classic Survivor challenge with the ring toss. And
I'm sitting there watching, and Dan is good at these challenges, and it almost appears as though Dan might be better than John at some of these challenges, and I am anxiously looking forward to the individual showdowns between Dan and John. I think that's going to be something to see.
Yeah, because you have Dan, who's obviously athletic and muscular and confident and can do well, and then you have a professional wrestler, badass physique, and obviously an extreme just a great athlete. So, like you said, I think with some of those individual challenges, man, it's going to be a showdown between the two of them on many, many occasions. I don't really foresee.
And then the other challenges will be carnival games in which anyone can win or Nick.
Yeah, or some sort of puzzle brain type thing where you have Christian or Gabby that has a great chance. But some of these physical things, it is going to be great to watch John and Hot Cop Dan do these things. So
I can't imagine either one giving up at something physical. I think it's going to be one of those hour 11, and they're still staring at each other.
Yeah, I can see that 100%. So Tiva,
nothing homoerotic about that.
No. Tiva comes back to camp after winning, and you see Hot Cop Dan. They're talking about the Brochacho Alliance. Hot Cop Dan is in a great position right now. He's got this Brochacho Alliance. He has 2 hidden immunity idols.
He thinks he still has Kara K.
yeah, you're exactly right. He thinks he does. So I think that,
and we don't see as to where he doesn't have Kara. I mean, this Kara K Alec thing. It makes no sense on paper so far.
It doesn't. And then the one thing that I noticed, was, and I don't know. I know you hate Cochran, right? But Christian, he kind of talks about how he's gaining confidence. It shows him with the Brochacho Alliance, and he's kind of telling people like, man, this is really who I've always wanted to be. He's always been the nerd guy, but now that he's on Survivor, people are accepting him, and he is.
This season was made for Christian for his evolution into a butterfly story. I get it, and I'm cool with it. Yep. So my as I said, my only thing with Cochran is the fucking I didn't know it was going to be hot. I'm just like, you played the fucking Survivor before.
Yeah, no, and that makes total sense. And I know that Gabby starts freaking out over the Brochachos, and I know she trusts Christian, but she's still nervous. So she goes to Allison and, is willing to...
Yay, airtime Allison.
That's right.
She's back in the game.
She's back in the game, and they're trying to ditch this whole David versus Goliath scenario. And they're kind of talking and trying to make some potential alliance together, and Gabby kind of gets a little bit emotional. And
Gabby's playing a game. I mean, don't let those tears fool you. I do believe those tears are real, but I also believe those tears are a very strong part of her game and getting what she wants done.
Yeah, and she's smart thinking about getting rid of Dan. I mean, I like Dan, but Gabby is a player. She's a gamer, and I think moving forward, if she makes it deep into this game, I'm gonna like Gabby more and more. And
she's cognizant of the fact that she goes, hey, I don't want to be on the bottom here.
No, she's
so I mean, a lot of people on the bottom don't realize that they're on the bottom.
Right. Oh, they don't.
So, they don't. And if they do realize it, maybe there's just like, oh well, there's nothing I can do.
And the good thing is,
she has a recognition, and she's making moves.
Right. So she knows she's approaching Allison, and she also knows that she has this bond, even though Christian's with the Brochachos, Gabby and Christian still have this bond.
That bond is stronger than the Brochacho bond.
Yeah, I would have to agree. So it puts Christian in a great position.
Oh,
really.
He's in the catbird seat.
Because he has...
Well, I don't know. He probably doesn't like all that pressure. It's probably the worst position in the world for him, just, seeing his personality. Mm-hmm. But in reality, it's pretty optimal.
Oh, yeah, it is. So it's going to be exciting kind of watching. I hope Gabby makes it far into this game. Did you see what she was for Halloween?
No,
I did not.
She was E.T.
Oh no! Is that when she painted her face like ET?
Yeah, so
I did see that.
She had the glowing finger.
Yep, that was sick.
Because people have been calling her for years, not just Survivor, but especially Survivor. They've jumped on board. They call her Gollum and ET, so she embraced it. So.
But the funny thing is, man, I don't look at Gabby and think of her as this huge nerd, like unattractive chick. I don't either. I think she's badass.
She's cute, as I said. Her butt was the MVP of this season, or not the season. This episode. Let's not go crazy.
But I'm a fan of Gabby.
Lear's butt this season, man. She had man. That's all right.
That's right. So after we kind of see Allison and Gabby talking about stuff, we go to the Vuku tribe.
Oh, well, hold on. And John Morrison's butt. Let's not pick favorites here.
Dude, his butt, his abs. Huh.
I mean, what is it, great? Come on.
Yeah, that dude is a machine. We go to the Vuku tribe, and we see Elizabeth, who basically starts wanting to, like, all of a sudden in the middle of the day or the end of the day, who knows what time it is, she's all of us freaking out about messing with the shelter. Now, I understand sleeping on bamboo is not the most ideal thing.
It's the worst thing ever.
So you're trying to lay on your back, on your side, on your stomach. You can't get comfortable.
I won mattresses early in my season on Pearl Islands. That was a difference maker.
Oh, I'm sure. So, Davey and Carl, they're not wanting to work on the shelter right now. They're like, this is not just a 1 hour thing. Redoing the shelter is like an all-day thing, and
it's not. I disagree. I'm of two schools of thought. I am like Elizabeth in that I can't take when people work hard not to work, and I sensed a lot of that.
Yeah.
However, that is more of a beginning of the day project, and I personally would have pitched that project to happen earlier in the day. However, I don't think there was 2 hours of daylight left. I would be willing to bet, dog, because you don't know how much time. Like your mind is fucked.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to bet dollars to donuts, I would probably say there was probably 3-4 hours left. And honestly, if the tribe had worked together, you could have really knocked that out in an hour and a half tops.
You could have. Here's the thing. She starts claiming that 4 weeks before Survivor, she couldn't even walk. Yeah. She had massive back problems, okay?
Yeah.
Constant pain. She has constant pain over the bamboo. And, you see Kara loving this whole thing because she's like, hey, as long as the finger is not pointed at me, let these people get...
I was waiting for Kara to be like, I got your back, girl. And Kara's just like, I just want fucking tension.
Yeah, right.
Just like, I ain't got to, I'll say whatever you need me to say, but I ain't got you. I ain't got no dog in this fight. I just want confrontation between people other than myself.
Yeah, and I don't blame her. And the thing that I don't understand, Johnny, okay, so on my season, some of us slept on the bamboo shelter, but other people just slept just on the sand, on the beach. If you have back problems and you're in extreme pain, the solution to me, instead of being Elizabeth causing all this big commotion and kind of pissing off some people in the tribe, why not just sleep on the damn sand on the beach?
Well, if no one's sleeping on the sand, maybe she didn't even think about it. I mean, like, your mind leaves you.
Right.
So I never slept on the sand. I never thought, because like on Pearl Islands, the sand fleas were so bad, they just destroyed. That wasn't an option where I was. So it might not be bad in Fiji, but I know in Pearl Island that you couldn't do that shit.
Right.
You'd be destroyed.
Yeah. And that's kind of, we were talking tonight when I was watching it at the people's house. And
even like on you saw on Pearl Islands, like the Morgan tribe, like the hermit crab. The hermit crabs will destroy in the middle of the night just laying on the sand. Like, you had to have your shelter elevated at least a foot off the ground on bamboo.
Yeah.
Like that, there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So as I said, it may be different, Fiji. I don't know. I've never been there.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Like, I'm available next summer. I'll check it out, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. So if you play again, okay, and then I never play again, and Jonny Fairplay is gone, how am I what would you suggest me to do for the podcast while you're gone?
Cochran, I think, would be.
No. I'd ask for some favors for like Lex and Big Tom or something. So after this whole thing,
Big Tom has 2 cups and a string.
Yeah, he does. That's his way of phone calls.
And also still has a copy of 2 Girls, 1 Cup, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, I love it. So we go to after the whole Elizabeth thing and the shelter fiasco and her freaking out about her back. We go to the immunity challenge, which is a pretty sweet challenge. And the thing is, you got this big. They show up at the challenge. There's this big round saucer that you can, go collect water in. Okay, yeah. and then you got.
I would have been pissed. I just would have looked at that big thing of water and been like, "Can't we just please have this at our camp?
Yeah,
please,
oh, yeah.
just that."
Yeah.
I would have forfeited the challenge just to move that big water tower to my tribe and be like, "Oh yeah, we'll figure this shit out amongst us who needs to go, but that needs to go to my camp."
Oh yeah, that's a game changer. As when we go back and watch on our Patreon, when we go to watch Survivor Africa, I remember when they won a big tub of water at some point, and that is a game changer. And water, to me, I was hungry, Johnny, but I was more thirsty than I was anything else. And
well, they told it. We were told. I mean, because I don't even think we were we didn't everyone gets Survivor class, and I guess you're supposed to boil water for 5 minutes to make sure that everything,
all the impurities are out. Yeah, something like that.
No one told so I think someone said you're supposed to boil it for an hour or something. so we boiled our water We basically never had water because we just boiled it.
It disintegrated into thin air. You guys are dumbasses. I love it.
Well, I mean, supposedly you could. I mean, I heard from multiple people, Rudy and stuff. So it's just you can smell the chlorine or whatever. It's just the water's fine, but you hear that and there might be a percentage of truth to that, but our good friend Lex was bedridden for a year because of parasites. Sandra had
when I got home, dude, my stomach, when I was on my pre-jury trip, my stomach was so fucked up that I had to get massive medication because I'd have anything that I would put in my stomach, I would have the shits afterwards. So you cannot. That's the thing. You think about it. Oh, I'm gonna, boil the water for this, that, or the other. I'm just gonna drink the unboiled water. You do not want to risk getting kicked out of the game because in the game of Survivor, things can go bad to worse in 1 second, and screw your whole game up. So it's pretty crazy. So in this immunity challenge, one of the cool things, obviously, is there's a puzzle at the end. So someone's got to sit out. There's 3 tribes. You got Elizabeth sits out on her tribe. Gabby sits out on her tribe. You got to run out. You got this big saucer, and you got to kind of work as a team to carry this over a balance beam and fill this saucer up with water. Once you get the water in it, you got to go back across the balance beam / obstacle course and pour it in this well. And what do we see? We see yet again the Tiva tribe, which is got Dan and John and Christian.
You have brawn and brains. The best of you have the elite.
You do
this season on one tribe.
It is. It's like a fans versus favorites scenario. It's every athletic badass person is on that tribe, and it's showing it in this challenge.
And Gabby.
And Gabby, and it's literally, it wasn't even really a contest. They were basically.
Jeff even called it. He goes, "This is a blowout," and which all right. So remember, my pet peeves are I hate the word team instead of tribe.
Right.
Allison does. She is on Instagram and she does do the hashtag Dream Team Tribe. I think I'm okay with that.
You're fine with Dream Team Tribe, but not just team.
instead
basically.
of tribe.
No,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Team in place of, but I mean, because like the dream team, like for those of you that are old like me, like the dream team was like for the was it the '88 Olympics? You had Jordan, Bird, and Magic, and Barkley. Like it was just like this is the greatest team of all time.
Right.
That was the dream team, and for Survivor David versus Goliath, that is the dream team tribe and Gabby.
Oh yeah, yep.
I think Gabby's butt is an MVP. So you know what, Gabby, you're in there too. You're a Berchacho. You're a part of the dream team tribe.
Yep, I would go with that. I would go with that. We have the.
She's a player, as I said. She's the reason Jessica went home.
Yeah.
Or Elizabeth. Elizabeth has some play in there too. And then I don't know. She's made her presence felt.
Yeah, and we got the Tiva tribe killing it. Obviously, the Vuku tribe with Alec and Kara. They're in second place. Kara and Alec have plenty of time to work on the puzzle because the purple tribe Jabiti is literally losing. Every time they try to get water, they can't even get enough water to fill the well up to get their puzzle pieces. And they're literally complaining about cramping and blisters. You got to never give up in Survivor. And it seems like Mike and Nick, and they were just all just like, we can't even, they just kind of gave up, which is.
I don't think, I think it. I think they physically lost. I don't think they mentally lost because I think they were even with that last piece going in. I think they physically did not have the ability to do anything. At least Mike did not have the ability to physically do anything more.
Yeah,
and it was heartbreaking. It was. I mean, as I said, this cast is so good that it's just like, oh. However, I will say I am the absolute 180-degree polar opposite of Mike. I love voting people out.
Oh, yeah, he gets emotional.
There has never been a time that I've gone to tribal council and been like, oh, man, I can't send anyone home.
Yeah. Survivor is a game of voting people out, and he does get like, man, I wish the four of his tribe could have stayed together till the merge, and he was getting emotional about voting somebody out. But the reality of it is, if you're Mike, it's like, hey, listen, as long as it's not my ass going home at this point in the game.
Like, yeah, this shit sucks, but I'm over it.
Yeah, they were hoping to stay together to the merge, and they come back to camp. They're going to be going to tribal council, and this is why I don't like 3 tribes. Because when there's only 4 people going to tribal council, it doesn't make it as entertaining, in my opinion, and as exciting as if it's, a 2-tribe deal at this point in the game. Yeah. But you got 4 people going there. Angelina, she's kind of talking to Lyrsa. She's trying to plead her case, and I think at one point they're like, oh, maybe they could have this They're both Latina. They can have this Latina bond, but they're both gunning for each other.
Yeah. It was it's just like, what do you think of that? It's just like, I'm thinking I'll draw rocks if that's what comes to.
Well, I thought it was.
You seem nice, but I would rather do anything than work with you.
And Mike starts talking about kind of how strategic Angelina is.
She is. I think she's to me, on paper, just analyzing this game from start to finish, I think she is the best strategic player in the game right now. Bar none.
That's a big statement, Johnny. She is a strategic player. She's been thinking about the moves, and she is a huge threat going forward. She can make it really deep into this game. And I thought it was funny because Lyrsa's like, if she gets voted out, I ain't giving her my jacket. I may give her one of my socks that's got a hole in it. I don't know about you, dude, but I don't know if I'd want one of Lyrsa's holy socks, even if I needed a sock for my left foot.
No, and Lyrsa is not. I don't feel Lyrsa is a dangerous player at all. I think she could have been a lucky player. I mean, she's Sandra. I mean, like, I like Lyrsa. I've chatted with her on Facebook. She's made me laugh this game. I'm sure when I meet her in person, I'm gonna give her a big hug, and I think she's great.
Yeah.
However, I don't think she's a great player to any degree, and I see zero difference between her gameplay and Sandra's. Zero.
Well, I tell you what, I'm really starting to like, you got Mike and Nick, the rock star alliance. Obviously, we know Nick on a personal level, so you kind of are rooting for Nick, and he's got a lot of airtime. And Mike, the beginning of the game, when he's like, oh my God, I'm on Survivor, I'm going to go look for idols, I'm going to do this, that, and the other. I am starting to like to see Mike's gameplay, and I actually like the bond between Mike and Nick. It reminds me of Michael Snow and I on my season, that kind of alliance. And I think those guys are smart, and I think.
Well, I don't think they're smart in the fact that I feel Mike to me feels more like a David than a Goliath.
Yeah, I mean.
And I don't think Angelina's there for him. I think she wants she's just waiting for that merge to join up with the other power alphas.
Yeah,
and this vote determined the entire second half of the game, and I'm scared that that Nick fucked up. I think. Unless Mike told him, it's just like, hey man, I can't, like, unless Mike said this fucks up my game for the rest of the game, because I can't go back to the fucking Goliaths if I take out one more. Right. Like this gives me the opportunity. He goes, I'll stay with you. I'll stay with the Davids. I'll work with them. But let me fuck over the Goliaths some. I don't have the ability to fuck over the Goliaths if I make this move right here. So it's just like, if you want to fucking draw rocks, we can draw rocks, but I can't get rid of Angelina at this moment, or it fucks up my game, because, the Davids could and should pick off the Goliaths one at a time. But I just see Angelina as I said, those power alphas were running the show. Like, Mike's cool because, he was in movies and shit, but he ain't one of them.
Yeah.
He's a David. I mean, if they're hanging out outside the game, like, yeah, Mike hangs out with lawyers and shit,
right, big time movie stars and stuff. Yeah,
but he's a nerd, and he's hanging out with the nerds.
So yeah, Angelina. So you think, you just made a statement earlier that she is the biggest strategic player in this game, and you think that Angelina is going to go very far in this game?
I think because of this fucking vote, I think it was the wrong move. So
that's the hard thing about it. It's like when you're out there, you have all these different scenarios. Who do you get out? Who do you get out? But yes, they had to have known, Johnny, that a merge was coming. They can't have three tribes forever. It's day.
No, they knew. I mean, like as I said, Mike was just like this decides, and he's right. I think this vote, if it goes the other way, we see. All it takes is one move to correct course. I mean, you can see from the preview that Alec is jumping ship, but is that already? We don't know what it like. A preview fucking means nothing in the whole grand scheme. But one move can't correct. But I really feel that this Angelina's responsible for convincing Mike into this vote, and as a result, the second half of this game will be Angelina's game.
Well, I like Angelina, and
I do too. I don't have a problem. I mean, so far the season's been great. So and I might enjoy the second half of the season just as much. I have loved the first half of the season. I have no complaints. I don't like when power people just run it all, that's it's anticlimactic.
But last season when Dominic and Wendell, they pretty much ran the entire season.
That wasn't. I mean, I loved Wendell, but I don't like Dom.
I like Dom, actually. But the thing I did not like...
he was kind of a dick to me.
Was he really? Well, that's not cool.
Yeah.
So. I have a mutual friend. I know this chick that is friends with Dom. I've never met him, so I don't know. I can't say anything about that. But last season was predictable. It was entertaining to watch. Like, wow, those guys are Dom and Wendell. But what I like about this season, David versus Goliath, is a lot of times you watch Survivor and anybody that's pre-jury is like non-memorable characters, and there's actually some people that I still remember that have got voted out this season. It has nothing to do with the fact that you and I are doing this podcast. It's just
Natalie will be a memorable person from this season.
She will, 100%. And I am excited. We see that next week a merge is happening. David and Goliath, this theme of this show is going to be out the window. It's going to be every man for himself. So we got to see, are people going to stick together? Are people going to jump ship? But it's going to be exciting to watch. I can't wait till next week and for just the rest of this season. I think this season is killing it this year. I was kind of apprehensive about the whole David versus Goliath thing, but I don't know. I'm really, really enjoying it, dude.
Well, I'm excited for next week because I'll be at Dirty Bull Brewing Company in Durham, North Carolina, and you can join me and other castaways. It's going to be a blast. Go to survivorafterhours.com. That is survivorafterhours.com. Get your tickets. It's for Wednesday night, November 7th. We're going to VIP starts at 6:30, 7:30 general admission. We're going to be watching the show, Q&A, meet and greets, get your buff, all kinds of fun stuff. If you've ever wanted to watch Survivor with the Survivor, it's like, if you've been to one of these breweries and done the trivia night, it's just as much fun at that, if not more.
It's
actually,
more.
A million times more.
And what I read, Johnny, I don't mean to interrupt you, but so you are sober. Jonny Fairplay does not drink or do anything of the sort. And isn't there some sort of you have a bar tab that you're going to let other people drink on, more or less, since you can't drink? Is that true or false?
Oh, I'm getting the other survivors fucked up. Yeah,
okay.
They'll lose all inhibitions. They'll tell you the shit like I with me loose lip sync ships. I get it. I'll say anything as long as this mic isn't going, and so we can keep this podcast going. With
Right.
these live shows, I give you all the fucking dirt, right?
Yep.
These survivors, I'm gonna load them with booze and get them to say the same shit too. It's gonna be great.
Well, that's awesome. So definitely, here's the deal. If you're listening to this podcast, check us out. Give us a 5-star review. Go on Reddit. Let us know what you think. Critique us. We're not going to cry and whine about any kind of, if you give us constructive criticism. Johnny and I are friends, and we love Survivor, and this is something that we really love to do. We're doing the Patreon thing. Literally, if you can spend $5 a day on a latte from Starbucks, you have got to go to Patreon. Johnny and I are having a great time doing these video Skype deals where we kind of break down. We're doing the watch-alongs right now with Survivor Pearl Islands, which last week with Andrew Savage, it was unbelievable for me to just be a part of it and see these guys talk. We got a Q&A talking about how Johnny, the recruit, Matt, the applicant, got on Survivor. This stuff is worth it. If you are a fan of the show Survivor, I would highly advise you to at least check it out, because Johnny,
do 1 month. Like right now, like our new Q&A, it hits tomorrow. We do an hour talking about how we each got on the show, the behind the scenes at the hotel. No one talks about the hotel. We talk about the fucking hotel in great detail. We go an hour. It's crazy. The Andrew Savage thing, we talk about Pearl Islands. We're doing the watch long, but afterwards we talk season 40. Andrew Savage says, hey, here's what I think season 40 is going to be. It's like, whoa, what the fuck? And what does he follow that up with? What the fuck? Are you kidding me? The conversation that he said he's going to have with his best friend, Jeff Probst.
That's right. It's fascinating. So, like I said, Survivor, we love it. We love the show. And the reason that it's 2018 and we're still talking about Survivor is the loyal fan base like you guys that are listening to it. So, tell your friends, spread the word, check us out, and thanks again for listening.
Go Patreon. It's like throwing a buck in the tip jar. So go to patreon.com/Survivor NSFW. And I can't wait to see a ton of you next Wednesday night in Durham, North Carolina. Get your tickets now, survivorafterhours.com.
And until next week, we will see you then. Thank you guys very much. Cheers. And you are, Jonny, if I'm not going to be able to be there next week in person, but in the future I will. And also stay tuned for the night before Thanksgiving for the Cincinnati event. We love you guys. Cheers. Survivor NSFW, the most downloaded and popular unauthorized Survivor podcast on the planet. Later, man.
It's true.